With nearly 1,000 moves in the Pokemon series, some of them are going to be pretty awful. So today we're going to try and improve some of the game's bad moves. What's up fellas, my name is Matt, and Elias and I aren't focusing on early game moves like Tackle or Growl. Yeah, they're not great moves, but they're not supposed to be. You start with weak moves, then you work your way up to stronger moves later in the game.
What's up, I'm Elias, and let's start with Wild Charge.
No.
Vetoed. Wild Charge is one of the worst good moves in the game. It's one of the best physical electric type moves, but when your competition is Thunder Punch and Spark, that's not saying much. Supercell Slam was also added in Scarlet and Violet's DLC, but crash damage is less than ideal. As it stands currently, Wild Charge is 90 power and 100% accuracy, which isn't bad, but for whatever reason it does recoil damage. It's also weaker than other recoil moves like Flare Blitz, Brave Bird, and Double Edge, but unlike Flare Blitz, which has a 10% chance to burn the target, Wild Charge doesn't have a chance to paralyze. But on the flip side, Wild Charge deals less recoil damage than those other moves. You only take 1/4 of the damage you deal, compared to 1/3 when you use Flare Blitz.
This is unrelated to the video, but I hate that when you type in fractions into Google Docs, it makes them small like that.
Yeah, I hate that too. So the fix for this move is pretty simple. Let's just buff it to 120 base power, which puts it on par with the other recoil moves. To compensate though, we're also upping the recoil to 1/3 like Flare Blitz and Friends as a balancing mechanism. Yup, we made it an electric-type Double Edge clone. Deal with it. We considered buffing the power to 100 and removing the recoil damage completely, but we decided that it wouldn't make thematic sense considering the move is, well, a wild charge, you know?
I just want the world to know that Elias spent 400,000 years trying to pronounce the word recoil correctly.
Whatever. Your turn.
While we're talking about recoil moves, Submission is also terrible. It's 80 power and 80% accurate, which is really not what you want. This was the best fighting move in Gen 1 that Pokemon other than Hitmonlee could learn. And that's a big reason why the fighting type was so terrible back then. And that's despite being super effective against Normal, arguably the best type in the gen. There just weren't any fighting moves that were any good. Our fix here is the same as Wild Charge. Buff Submission to 120 power and 100 accuracy, which would make it an alternative for close combat. Pick your poison, recoil damage or lower defenses.
Next up, let's take a look at Pyukumuku's signature move, Purify. This move is basically just a strictly worse version of Recover. It heals 50% of your health, but only if another Pokemon in the field has a non-volatile status condition. But the move has two major downsides. For one, it cures the target of its status, which is usually a terrible idea if you're purifying your opponent. For two, the move fails if nobody on the field has a status. Since Pyukumuku can learn Recover, Purify is a strictly worse move in nearly every situation.
This one is actually pretty simple to fix. Just make it so the Purify will always work even if you're not curing anybody. That way you actually have a good reason to use it over Recover. You could target yourself to heal normally, or target a teammate to cure their status. What's the point of having a signature move if a standard move you can also learn is going to outclass it?
Hyper Beam is one of the most iconic moves in the series. Unfortunately, it's not very good. 150 power is really strong and 90% accuracy is manageable. The problem is that Hyper Beam makes you recharge on the turn after the move hits. Back in Gen 1, this wasn't a huge hurdle because you don't have to recharge if Hyper Beam scores a KO. So if you know your damage calculations, you can go Berserk with a Hyper Beam on one turn and go Berserk again on the next turn against another Pokemon.
But starting in Gen 2, Hyper Beam will always make you recharge as long as it hits, which made it significantly worse. You pretty much never see the move competitively nowadays. So our fix for this move is also pretty simple. Just revert it back to Gen 1 mechanics and remove the recharge turn if you knock something out. Hyper Beam also has a handful of clones that work the same way, so this idea would also apply to Giga Impact, Rock Wrecker, Blast Burn, Frenzy Plant, Hydro Cannon, and Roar of Time. There were more of these than I thought, to be completely honest.
I forgot about Roar of Time. That's a fun one. I actually have it on my Dialga. Let's take a look at Delibird's signature move, Present.
Present.
Let's take a look at Delibird's signature move, Present.
Alright, you're fired.
This was the only move it could learn by level up for a while until it got Drill Peck in Gen 6, and Present is absolutely atrocious. First off, it's 90% accurate, so, you know, bad start. Not a death sentence by any means, but a bad start. But on top of that, the move does random damage. If the move hits, it has a 40% chance of being 40 base power, a 30% chance to be 80 power, and a 10% chance to be 120 power.
I know what you're thinking. Gentlemen, that's only 80%. Well, the other 20% is what makes this move truly awful. If Present hits, it has a 1 in 5 chance of healing the target instead of damaging them. The move can make your opponent recover 1/4 of their max health. And on top of that, the move was completely bugged in Gold and Silver, to the point where it always does the wrong amount of damage.
I couldn't tell you why, but when Delibird uses Present, the damage formula plugs in the wrong numbers for Delibird's level and attack stat, as well as the opponent's defense stat. Delibird's attack stat is always 10 when it uses This is so bad.
Right?
Oh my god. How did they greenlight this? Delibird's attack stat is always 10 when it uses the move, unless the target is rock or steel type. What? Unless the target is rock or steel type, in which case its attack is 5. The target's defense stat will always be 2. Because, sorry, what?
I genuinely
Is this a real sentence?
could not tell. This is all a real. This move did not work at all.
What? The target's defense stat will always be 2 because Delibird's secondary type is flying, and Delibird's level is based on the target's secondary type. How does this glitch even happen? Who knows, man? Long story short, that means you could have a level 50-something Delibird and still fail to one-shot a level 3 Sentret with Present. This glitch was fixed in Pokemon Crystal, and the move works as intended nowadays. Unfortunately, the move still sucks when it works as intended. So let's fix that, shall we?
Alright, oh god, this video is gonna be a disaster. Delibird is basically Pokemon's take on Santa Claus, so maybe instead of being a terrible damaging move, Present could be a status move that gives the target a held item. If you use it on an opponent, Present would give them a detrimental held item at random, like a Lagging Tail, Black Sludge, Toxic Orb, or Iron Ball, replacing their held item. If you use it on a teammate instead, Delibird could give them a beneficial bag item, like an X item to boost their attacking stats, a potion if they're low on health, an antidote if they're poisoned, stuff like that. You know, it's occurring to me that Iron Bundle also learns Present. It probably should not get this new and improved version of the move, so you know what? Screw it. Iron Bundle, Robot Santa gets it too. I like watching the world burn. Our new and improved Present would work differently, depending on if you're targeting an opponent or a teammate, but that wouldn't be unprecedented. Pollen Puff is a standard bug-type move with no secondary effect. It's 90 base power, so in single battles it's entirely outclassed by Bug Buzz, which has a chance to lower special defense. But if you use Pollen Puff on a teammate in doubles, it'll heal them instead, so Present wouldn't be the first move to work like that.
Speaking of random damage moves, Psywave is an awful move as well. If a level 100 Pokemon uses it, Psywave can potentially do 150 damage. But the odds of that happening are slim because Psywave can deal anywhere between 1 damage and 1.5 times the user's level. So it's one of the least reliable moves in the game.
But wait, there's more, and it's worse. In Gens 1 through 5, Psywave is 80% accurate, so not only is the damage output unreliable, but you might not even hit the move in the first place. Even after getting buffed to 100 accuracy in Gen 6, it's still a terrible move, because you just can't rely on it to score KOs. Your opponent could have 7 HP left, and Psywave could just decide to do 6 damage.
So as we continue our never-ending crusade against random damage moves, let's turn Psywave into a set damage move instead. Instead of dealing random damage based on your level, let's always make it deal damage equal to your level. That would make Psywave a Psychic-type clone of Seismic Toss and Nightshade. They're not the most common moves in the universe, but Pokemon with bad attacking stats appreciate them. Chansey's attacking move of choice is usually Seismic Toss, for example, because its attack stat is, well, you know, 5.
For more videos like this, subscribe to MEPlaysGames and consider becoming a channel member. Stick around after the video for a podcast, MEPlaysGames, where I'll be testing Eliza's knowledge with Jeopardy clues. How dumb is he?
Very.
Oh, what a shame.
Spicy Extract is Scovillain's signature move, and it's really not great. This is a double-edged sword knife kind of move.
Sword knife?
Why did I say knife? This is a double-edged sword kind of move that raises the target's attack and lowers their defense by 2 stages each. Sure, it makes Scovillain's physical move stronger, but that's not all that helpful. It got balanced attacking stats, but you're better off running special moves, because the special grass and fire stab options are better than the physical ones. Scovillain can't learn Flare Blitz or Fire Punch. In fact, its only physical fire stabs are Temper Flare, which is situational but usually weak, and Fire Fang, which is atrocious. Just use Flamethrower, man, or Fire Blast, your choice. The physical grass move Seed Bomb isn't terrible, but there are plenty of special options that you're better off picking. Energy Ball is stronger and actually has a secondary effect, Giga Drain is slightly weaker but it heals you, and Solar Beam is a force to be reckoned with on Sun teams. So lowering the opponent's defense doesn't really do much for you because Scovillain's physical moves aren't great.
If that was all the moves did, it would be pretty whatever. A more accurate version of Screech would be pretty inoffensive, but underwhelming is a signature move. But we're not done. It also gives your opponent a free Sword Stance. Physical attackers are all over the place, so Spicy Extract is a dangerous move to use. Scovillain's speed stat is pretty underwhelming, clocking it with a base stat of just 75. So if you use a move on a fast physical attacker, you're probably just gonna die. Chances are you'll get outsped and knocked out before you can even take advantage of the defense drop. We had a couple ideas to fix this move, but we settled on raising Scovillain's stats instead of messing with the target stats. Our new and improved Spicy Extract would raise Scovillain's special attack by 1 stage and its speed by 2 stages, so it would effectively be a special version of Shift Gear. In this case, Scovillain would be using the Spicy Extract to fire itself up.
Here's an unintuitive fact. Triple Kick and Double Kick have the same maximum damage potential. Double Kick is a pretty solid early game fighting move. It's 30 power, but it hits twice, so that's 60 power in total. So it's a fine move for the first couple of gyms, and it's even seen some use in competitive play. by a cheater. Check out this freeze eye video for more information. If you're playing fair, there's pretty much no reason to use this move after the 4th gym. Triple kick obviously hits 4 times. Triple kick obviously hits 3 times, but each hit is stronger than the last one. The first hit is 10 power, the second hit is 20 power, and the third hit is 30. So triple kick also maxes out at 60 power. There's just one little problem. 2 little problems. 2 massive problems.
First off, triple kick is 90% accurate, and that's not 90% for the whole move. The game runs an accuracy check for each hit individually. As soon as one hit misses, the move ends. So you can land the first hit, then miss the second, and the move will only do 10 powers worth of damage. The chance of landing all 3 hits is just 72.9%, which is in the ballpark of moves like Thunder and Poison Powder. So counterintuitively, triple kick is a billion times worse than double kick. But the other problem with this move is when you gain access to it. Triple kick was added in Gen 2, and it was Hitmontop's signature move. Double kick is typically learned pretty early on in the game. The Nidos get it at level 12, Hitmonlee gets it at level 1, and in Gen 3, Combusken learns it at level 16. But for some reason, Hitmontop doesn't get the infinitely worse triple kick till level 49. That's a higher level than every Pokemon in Johto, except for Lance's Dragonite. So the move is garbage, and you probably won't get it till the Pokemon League.
This move is a pretty simple fix too. Triple Axle is an Ice-type version of this move, except it's actually good. Each hit of Triple Axle is twice as strong as Triple Kick, so it maxes out at 120 power in total. It's still 90% accurate for each hit, but the higher damage output makes it worth using. So let's just buff Triple Kick to be a fighting type version of Triple Axle. The 3 hits would be 20, 40, and 60 power respectively. It still wouldn't be that great, cause Hitmontop and Pheromosa can both learn close combat. That move is also 120 power, but it's also 100% accurate. Oh well, at least the improved Triple Kick wouldn't be borderline unusable.
Welp, that'll do it for this video. Leave a comment with any other fixes you have for bad moves, and we might go over them in a part 2. Stay tuned for our podcast, MEPlaysGames, link on the end screen. We'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.